Hi everyone! For this video, we're going to have an introduction of polynomials. So a polynomial is a special algebraic expression with terms that consist of real number coefficients and variable factors with whole number exponents. Okay? Example is, let's say, 3x to the fourth power. So we have a real number coefficient. So this is the numerical coefficient, and the x to the fourth is what we call the variable, and the exponent is a whole number exponent. Another example would be 4xy squared plus 5. So we have real number coefficients and we have variables x and y, and the exponents of x and y are whole numbers. So for y it's squared and for x it's 1. And 5 here is a constant. We call that constant. Constant means they don't have any variables. It's not written. Okay. And then 3 is the numerical coefficient. Same thing with 4. That's also numerical coefficient. And for the x, the y, the z's, we call that the literal coefficient, or simply called the variables. Also note that polynomials can't have variable or can have division by a variable. Okay, so for example, 2 over x or 3x squared over y. Okay, these are not polynomials. A polynomials may have one or more terms, but not an infinite number of terms. So when we say we have the term 3x or 3x plus 4 or 3x minus y plus 5, so these are polynomials that is combined by addition, subtraction, multiplication, or division. So for the first example, 3x, this is a monomial because it has only one term. Another example of monomial could be 4x squared y. That's also just one term. Or negative 10 a, b, c cubed. That's also monomial. And 13. This is also one term. And it's a constant. Okay. Now, the second example, 3x plus 4, is what we called a binomial because it has two terms, 3x and 4. Okay, so 4 is a constant. Okay. Now, this one, 3x minus y plus 5, or let's have 3x squared minus y plus 5. It has three terms, so we call that trinomial. Okay, so these are the types of polynomials. And of course, more than three terms, we call them as polynomials, but a polynomial can't have an infinite number of terms. Now, what about degree? What is the degree of a polynomial? So the degree of a polynomial with only one variable, let's say 3x squared, it is the largest exponent of the variable. So in this case, 3x squared with only x as the variable, so the degree is at second degree. Okay, so if we have 4x cubed plus 2x squared plus 10, so in this case, the degree is the highest exponent of that variable x, and that is the third degree. Now, if we have a polynomial with more than one variable, then what we do to get the degree is to add the exponent of the variable. So for example, we have 3x squared y cubed. So the degree of this polynomial is to the fifth degree because we add 2 and 3. Let's have another example. So if we have 7x squared y, the degree would be the exponent of x, which is 2, and the exponent of y, which is 1. So the degree is third degree. Okay, if we have binomial, for example, let's say we have 7a squared plus 6a to the fifth plus 2a minus 15. So the degree of this polynomial, we have 4 terms. Okay, and the highest degree of a is 5. So the degree is 5, or fifth degree. What about this? What is the degree of this polynomial? Yes, the degree of this polynomial is 1, or first degree. What about 8? So in this case, this is 0. Okay, why? Let us explain. 0, since 8 is equal to 8x raised to the 0. We know that any base raised to the 0 power is equal to 1. So 8 times 1 is equal to 8. So the degree of a constant is 0. When we write polynomials, we should also write them according to the degree. Let's have this example: 4x minus 3x squared minus 5x cubed minus 7 plus 6x to the fourth power. So this one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 terms. So it's not monomial, it's not binomial, it's not trinomial, so we just simply call that polynomial. And when we write polynomials, it must be written, the exponents must be in descending order. So let's identify first the leading term. When we identify the leading term, it contains the variable with the highest exponent. So in this case, this one, because it has the highest exponent of variable x, which is 4. So the leading term is 6x to the fourth. And 6 is our leading coefficient. Okay, and therefore the degree of this polynomial is the highest exponent of the leading term, so that's 4th degree. Okay, so let's write our polynomials in standard form, starting with the leading term. So we have 6x to the 4th, and then next one will be the third power, so minus 5x cubed, and then next is second power, so minus 3x squared, plus this, the exponent of x here is 1, plus 4x, and then our last term, the constant, minus 7. Let's have this example. 4x squared y minus 10 plus 3x squared y cubed minus 2x y squared. So to classify this, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 4 terms, so we'll just simply call this a polynomial. And to find the degree of a polynomial with 2 variables, we need to add the exponent of those 2 variables. So in this case, the exponent of x is 2 and the exponent of y is 1, so the degree of this term is 3. For the constant 10, the degree is 0. For this term, 3x squared y cubed, so we add the exponent 2 and 3, so the degree for this term is 5. And for negative 2xy squared, the degree of this term is 3. So in that case, the highest degree is 5. So the leading term is 3x squared y cubed. And 3 is the leading coefficient. Okay. And the degree of this polynomial is 5. Okay, degree of polynomial. So let's write this polynomial in standard form, starting with our leading term. So that's 3x squared y cubed plus negative 2xy squared, so minus plus negative, so it will be minus 2xy squared, and then plus 4x squared y, and the last term minus 10.